Welcome back, Burley Nation, to another episode of my Better Than Adventure Let's Play series. I think in the last episode I ended off with part 1 of my Cancel Culture Rant. Hashtag I'm being cancelled, Yellow Swag comic, up right now. Literally me right now. And yeah, I'll be doing part 2 of this rant. And while I do that, I will be building another portal here. So my last video, I kind of talked more about the YouTube side of things and how, in my opinion, I think creators can kind of control how likely they are to be quote-unquote cancelled by making specific types of content. Someone in the Minecraft community where it's super kid-friendly, accepting of all creators, and not very offensive in any way, they're a lot more likely to have people be cancelled than in the CSGO community. CSGO is a much more adult game. It has a bunch more edgy content being made. If a CSGO YouTuber says the N-word, nobody bats an eye because that's all part of the plan. But one Dream SMPer says that billionaires don't deserve to die and everybody loses their minds. That was basically the point of my last video. And today I'll still be focusing a little bit on YouTube creators, but I'll also be kind of making it more like applicable to everyone else. So pretty much the first topic I want to talk about in relation to cancel culture is that from what I've seen, it seems like a lot of people who give into cancel culture kind of treat all accusations the same way. And I'm not just talking about like treating an accusation of rape the same way as treating an accusation of like sexual harassment. I mean, like, you will see accusations of sexual assault right next to like, and they said the N-word 5 years ago. And it's just very strange because, like, even in these communities where saying slurs and all that stuff is like considered a very bad thing, a big no-no. I think everyone can agree that saying slurs 10 years ago is not as bad as sexual assault now. The most recent example of this is like with the Super Mega drama that happened. At this point, it's probably going to be a few months old, and honestly, maybe stuff has happened since then. But from what I remember, they had like a former editor come out with accusations that they had like one of their employees had sexually assaulted her, and they had like mistreated the situation. They like didn't fire him quickly enough. They like took their time or whatever, and it wasn't like completely like they were complacent with it, but at the same time they could have done more. But then other employees who had been with Super Mega started coming out, and the YouTuber Nick is Not Green made a video. And just more and more like petty grievances kept on being added until it was hard to take any of the accusations seriously. Because you had people like Nick is Not Green saying they had covered up sexual assault, and then in the next sentence they would say, and they made a joke with the N-word. Like, these are not on the same level of badness. Even if you think all of these things are stuff that they shouldn't be doing. Oh no, I need better armor too. That's actually no, I know what I'm doing. I'll be fine. And so in cases like the Super Mega thing, it's very possible that they are like in the wrong, that they mistreated this girl, that they kind of covered up for their friend and other employee. But it's just very hard to take seriously when they have so many other petty grievances. There we go. Yeah, I just think it's silly to frame all of these two completely different like accusations as the same level of like badness and the same level of intensity. This guy just sucks at aiming. Okay. Hit him once. Where is he aiming at? Yo, that's a what? How many times have I hit this guy? Alright, this is it. There we go. Didn't drop anything. I mean, here's another thing I've kind of noticed about cancel culture is that the idea of canceling someone has been kind of become like a negative thing. Like, you don't want to be the person who is like canceling somebody, and you'll see that being used as like an insult. And a lot of times, in defense to that, you'll see other people say, "Oh, I'm not canceling this person. I'm just holding them accountable for their actions." And honestly, what that really means is that they just want to punish this person for doing something they consider bad. And that's not necessarily a bad thing, but that's just how it is. Like, when another creator commits sexual assault, you don't really want that person to apologize or seek treatment. You just want them to leave the community forever and them to never to return. So all these people who were trying to quote unquote hold super mega accountable or whatever, they didn't really want them to get better or whatever. They just wanted them to be gone from the internet. Because I mean, even like racism, that's not something anybody, any 18-year-old or higher needs to have explained to them. At least from America. Everybody's learned about slavery. Everyone's knowing that the N-word is bad. I remember a few years back there was this Pokemon YouTuber named Arizo who was caught like saying the N-word, and I forget how old he was exactly, but he was like well into his 20s, if I remember correctly. And he just had his entire career ruined because he was also wasn't like a Misfits video either where they were using it in comedic context. He was just a racist straight up. And he had his career ruined because like what are you supposed to say to that? I guess kid was just genuinely racist. I kind of touched on this a few minutes ago, but also at the same time, people aren't looking for apologies. People like Colleen Ballinger got so much hate for her apology where she pulls out the ukulele or whatever. And like, yeah, that's stupid. That's obviously not what you want to do, and it's probably going to be memed about for years and years. But at the same time, like, what else do you... Like, there was no good response to being accused of the things she was being accused of, with, like, racism and grooming and stuff. The only, like, actually good comeback is for just to disprove the allegations. And do something like White did, where, I mean, White obviously just didn't do the things he was accused of, so he was able to come back. But Colleen Ballinger did. Which is why she just made that shitty ukulele apology. Jesus Christ, they're going after the pigmen. I don't think gas kids are even a thing yet. I'm just doing this for fun. Ugh. I'm like lost now. This is bad. Oh no, it's right here. Alright. Now, as I was saying before this gas interrupted me. So I said the only good response to something like grooming accusations or, you know, racism accusations is to just like deny them and to just disprove them. But obviously, that's not always the case. A lot of times these people are guilty. So in that case, say you do get canceled, you said the N-word a few months back and your fan base is really sensitive to that stuff. How would you be able to survive? How would you be able to survive if you are super guilty? And there are two things I've seen people done that kind of seem to work. The first thing, and this is like the less moral of the two, is that they just keep making content. They never address the situation whatsoever. They just keep making stuff, keep making videos, might disable comments for a bit, not touch Twitter for a bit, but they just keep making content. So one example I've seen of somebody who's done this is with the YouTuber Red Kiwis, or just Kiwis. Red Kiwis was like a Call of Duty YouTuber. Back in 2016, he was accused of like grooming. It was like a 13, 14-year-old girl when he was 17, 18. I'm gonna actually look this up real quick. Kiwis was 17, the girl claimed she was between 12 and 13. This accusation has probably come up like 3 or 4 times throughout Red Kiwi's career on YouTube, and he's never really done much to address it. In fact, it's always just been the opposite. He tried to avoid it as much as possible. And he just keeps making content, never going on like a super long break. What I'm gonna try to do is make a chest with all of the different armor types so that I can like pick and choose. In like a more universal, like broader sense, you also see this with like rappers who get accused of like, you know, they go to prison for a bit of time. You might have like sexual misconduct allegations come out against them. Like NBA YoungBoy, he was in jail for like a long ass time back in like 2020, 2021. And nobody really cares. Like, I don't even really know what he did because he just makes so much music that it distracts from everything else that's going on in his life. Now, the other way I've seen people who are genuinely guilty of the things they're accused of survive, even though they kind of just admit everything, is that you can take like a super long break. And I don't just mean like a 2 or 3 month break. I mean like you're gone for at minimum like 3 years from everything. And then you can come back, and at that point, everybody who was mad at you has moved on, and anybody who then never really cared, like, still don't care. and are happy that you're back. The most notable thing I've seen this happen to is this guy named Animated James. If you're not sure who he is, he was like this animation YouTuber back in the day who made a bunch of like My Little Pony animations. He made like Sonic the Hedgehog animations, kind of, cringy stuff looking back on it. It came out about in 2017 that he had like a secret fetish account. I'm also gonna look this up to make sure I have my details right. Took your time, made a good video about it. I'd go watch that if you want like a better explanation. In 2014, not 2017, it was exposed that he had a secret Tumblr page called Sonic Girls, where he drew female Sonic characters farting and defecating, as supposed to be like a sexual thing. And that's obviously bad. You also like start to think about like some of the Sonic characters are underage, although with how like abstract Sonic characters are, I think people are more willing to excuse that. Yeah, it also came out that he had been talking to 17-year-olds when he was 19 and 20, so that started like a rumor that he was a pedophile or a groomer. Later, it came out that he would send like sexually explicit material to like voice actresses for his series that he wasn't even in a relationship with, really. And just in general, he turned out to be a pretty disgusting guy. Well, he ended up quitting YouTube back in 2018 because of all these controversies. He just couldn't handle it anymore, and he decided to actually go seek help. And the crazy thing is that he did, and nobody heard from him in 4 years. And he just comes back one day, and he doesn't like try to make a full comeback to YouTube, but he just finally posts an apology. He talks about where he's been, and it's been long enough that nobody really cares that he did any of this stuff. And like the question is like, should we even care at this point if it's been so long? Like the stuff that was bad that he was accused of happened in 2014. It took like 4 years for him to like fully accept responsibility and leave the internet. And now it's been another 5 at this point. The comments are filled with people saying stuff like, "Oh, I missed your channel. You're a huge inspiration to me. Welcome back. It's good to see you." Another example of this would be Louis C.K., where he was kind of one of the main people exposing the Me Too stuff. Had a bunch of stuff come out against him. That wasn't very good. So he just took some time off, didn't really do anything, didn't talk to anybody, didn't say much. And so now he's just like, people just treat him like a regular comedian again. He's won Grammys, he's won other comedy awards. Some people still have issues with him. Like overall, he's just become like a normal part of the comedy world again. Whether you personally forgive him is up for debate. But at the end of the day, most people have, and they're just gonna move on now. That's been long enough. Alright, I didn't actually get to build in the nether portal room today. I didn't go to the nether as you guys saw. I'm gonna end the recording here. I think I kind of talked about all I wanted to today. Just some observations I had about cancel culture. Not really bad or good, just, observations. Thank you for watching. You made it this far. I'll see you in the next video.